Hello and welcome to Fireside History. Today, I'm not really going to go too much into detail on war. I'm mostly going to just go over a bit of the history here. Well, that goes without saying. But I'm going to go over just the religious element here, reading a primary source, and then discussing a little bit about the possible political purpose it might have served. Um, and that maybe this religious uh, ceremony may have been a cover for more political gestures. Yes, there was always the religious element, as Merchley was a very pious king. So let's, without further ado, read from the source. When I went to the land of Kumani, my father had promised a festival of adoration to the goddess Hatti of Kumani, but he had not yet performed it for her. Thus it became urgent for me. Therefore I went to Kizuwatna and spoke as follows. I have come to make restitution for my father's default. Be gracious to me, to my wife, my son, my house, my country, and to the... and it goes blank. Hatti of Kumani, my lady. Now, where it becomes political is that he invited Sharikushu, his favorite of his brothers, over to away from Carchemish so as to discuss likely the military operations and the overall political state of the kingdom. And that's where such meetings were of the utmost importance. But what's probably a major reason for the meeting was that Telepinu had recently died. Now remember, he was basically viceroy over in Aleppo, and a successor was available in Telepinu's son, Talmi Sharuma, but it had to be discussed with Sharikushu first, and especially given the volatile situation in the nearby Nuhashi lands. And he couldn't let the situation become, an opening for the enemy. What's more is that there was also a serious family matter, which Merchley wanted to discuss with his brother, that required extreme political delicacy and a lot of political counsel from his more experienced brother, as well this situation could shake up the entirety of the kingdom, which you did not want. But sadly the meeting became tragic, as everything in Merchley's life, nothing ever really went as planned, so to speak, as Sharikushu suddenly became ill at Kumani and died, thus creating a second viceroy crisis for Merchley within no more than a few months since the loss of, Telepinu and of control in Syria, which does lend an interesting light to the Syrian problem. It may well be that Telepinu's death precipitated the first outbreak. Possibly. I'm just theorizing here. And then what worsened it later was Sharikushu's own death. But this brings a lot of things into question, but it's not been proven. And it probably never will be. And it could be that I'm just completely talking out of my ass, so to speak. But it's a theory that I think is interesting. Now, that said, I'm sure there are historians out there who could disprove the Telepinu element, so don't take it with a large pinch of salt. Don't take it too seriously. It could very well be that he died in the midst of the rebellion, of illness, of course, not to enemy rebels. And, of course, Sharikushu would have more experience dealing with their nephew, with his and Merchley's nephew. But the loss of his two great brothers left Merchley extremely vulnerable. And it was plain to see for everyone in the world at the time. So next time we're going to see how this plays out. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. And hit that notification bell to stay tuned for more about Merchley II.